the dollar will decline. And therefore, much better to hold your reserves, your central bank reserves in gold. I think that will happen over a number of years.
Mr. Greyerz, it's good to have you. Thank you very much for your time today.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Then once you said buy as much physical gold as possible, and if you think you've got enough, buy even more, because you said the everything bubble, as you call it, might be an everything collapse pretty soon. How is that collapse going to look like?
Well, I think it's going to be very difficult. You know, I focus on risk and not on making maximum amount of money on investments. And I think we are probably in the riskiest period in history now. We've never had a world where every country in the world is so indebted as it is today. And on top of that, we have obviously more big countries running deficits, US, we know. And then you have the two wars, and that could easily be 3 wars or 4 wars. And as always, the US is involved in all the wars in countries that they have nothing to do with. You know, they're involved in the Ukraine. They're involved in the Middle East, and sadly, these wars could easily develop into a major conflict, especially when it is really between, you know, U.S. and Russia, U.S. And well, now the Palestinians. But Palestinians is not. We have the whole Arab and Muslim world, which is a few billion, a couple of billion. So the risks are enormous. We don't know what's going to happen. 2008, the world was saved by an hour or so. The banking system was almost going under. And I don't expect the next time that they will be able to save it. They printed over 200 trillion since 2008, plus derivatives was probably over 1 quadrillion. And those derivatives will also become debt at some point because the banks have to save them. And therefore, I think the risk is very high, and that's why gold is the best insurance against these risks. So it's so simple. And you know, if you look at all asset classes, stocks, bonds, property, I mean, they are in bubbles. And so that's why I call it the everything bubble, because you know, there's a risk that these will all crash. And then what else is there to hold? Cash will go down every day in value. When banks are printing money, cash goes down to its intrinsic value zero. It's always happened in history, will happen this time too. It's on its way. So that's the reason why I think we're facing a very risky period.
Absolutely. We are in a high-risk world at the moment. And you already mentioned the conflict in Israel. We have Russia, we have the Arabian world controlling more than 50% of the oil production.
Yeah.
And as we all know, you mentioned it in one of your articles, a lot of this oil is going by ship through the Strait of Hormuz,
yes,
which is controlled by the Iran. For example, let's say the conflict is going to be a bigger war.
Yeah.
What would happen with the oil price?
Well, it's interesting you asked that, because, of course, oil and gold very much go hand in hand. You know, you can see that they move together within a range. So, you know, oil is really black gold. So oil will go up dramatically and gold will go up dramatically. And, you know, we forgot to talk about, for example, Taiwan also. China, Taiwan is going to happen one day. And again, the US is involved because they'll be on the Taiwan side, of course. So, yeah, the oil price, I think it's, you know, I'm a gold man, and not because I love gold, because I think it's the best way to ensure your wealth or preserve your wealth. But because oil is also very good, I think, because I think it'll go up, but it's hard to store at home or in a vault, you know, for normal people. So gold is easier, and it's smaller also than having to have barrels of oil. So that's why I really think gold is the best way. So yeah, no. The oil price, I think, will go up substantially, and so will gold. Well, first of all, I've learned not to give short-term forecasts because it serves no purpose. We're not interested in the short term. You know, when you buy fire insurance for your house, you don't want your house to catch fire because you're insured. You're just happy that you have the insurance, and what you know is you have to buy it before the fire, because otherwise it's too late. And it's the same here. You buy your gold, you don't wait for gold to go up. You should buy the gold when it goes down. That's when you should buy it. Over time, gold has always gone up because paper money has always gone down. So it's so easy. And therefore now, you buy at any time because you know that the way we measure gold is in useless money, and useless money will be worth less next year and the year after the year after. So therefore, you just buy your gold, hold it, forget about it. Don't look at the price every day. Yes, gold moves in periods of you. So we went in at the early 2000s, and gold was about $200, no, $300 per ounce, $300. So it's up in most currencies since then, at least 7 times, and in weaker currencies are up much more than that. So over time, if you're patient, it will always be right to hold gold. But, it's best to buy it when it's unloved and undervalued. That's what we did in around 2000. And I think right now it's also unloved and undervalued because nobody owns gold. It's still only 0.5% of world financial assets in gold. And I think also central banks, they can't hold dollars anymore because the US confiscates whatever country's dollars they want to confiscate, like Russia, for example. Who would hold dollars? So also dollar will decline. And therefore, much better to hold your reserves, your central bank reserves in gold. I think that will happen over a number of years. And that will mean a major revaluation of gold because there isn't enough gold in the world to satisfy central banks moving in. So you will see, it won't happen overnight. It will be gradual revaluation of gold by multiples, I would say.
So you're really bullish on gold on the mid to long term, and you think a revaluation will have to come pretty soon.
Yes, but I hope it will be just a market gradual revaluation, not something that artificial that central banks do, because that never works. Much better if it just happens because of demand.
Okay, good to know. Mr. Greyerz, thank you very much for your time. Just one last question. We are on the Forum Gold. It used to be the Edelmetallmesse, so the precious metal conference. What is your overall feeling from the conference? It's the first time in this kind of style. How do you like it?
I think I always enjoy coming here to Munich and meeting German investors. It's the biggest gold market in Europe.
It is.
And the most knowledge also among people. And of course, this forum now is because we really look after bigger investors. So this is, for us, very good, this conference here. So we have lots of good meetings and people understand what's happening. So we find it very, very rewarding to be here.
Thank you very much. I think I would love to talk way longer with you, but maybe just as a really last question, as we can see, I'm a little bit younger. I'm the younger investor generation, and a lot of our people, follower, are also a little bit younger. You have lots of experience. What is your best advice you could give someone in my age, mid-20, 30, maybe a little bit older than 30? What's your best advice?
Number one, be a lifelong learner. I'm a lot older than you. I'm way past retirement age, but I'm still learning every day. And that's so much fun. That keeps you alive. So that's number one. Study, read, and you see what's happening in the world. And then you don't become someone who just read MSM, mainstream media, that just gives you the same propaganda all around the world. Read alternative news, read alternative reports, and think for yourself. Think what the consequences are if the world bankers and central bankers print trillions of money. That money has zero value, and therefore there has to be a consequence of that, which means that at some point that debt has to implode, and so will also all the assets that the debt finance. So therefore, people should think about actually what is happening in the world, and then I always tell young people, follow your passion. Don't rather than just take a job because you have to have a job. Do something that you are good at or like doing. And then you will always succeed. It doesn't mean that you make money on day one, but it means that if you're happy with what you do, you will be successful.
And you will be good at it one day.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.